The Dokkōdō, the way of walking alone. This is the second book written by the famed Japanese swordsman and martial artist Miyamoto Musashi. Many people know that he wrote the famed book, The Book of Five Rings, but few know that he actually wrote two books, and the second one is called Dokkōdō. It is a short, brief, but very profound work, as mentioned before, and it was written by the legendary Japanese swordsman and philosopher Miyamoto Musashi. And he wrote it just days before his death in 1645. It has 21 short or concise precepts that show and outline Musashi's stoic and disciplined philosophy of life. The context is very personal, deeply personal. Musashi surely was sensing the end of his life. He gave away his possessions and retired to a cave called Reigandō, where he composed Dokkōdō as a final set of teachings. He dedicated it to Terao Magonojō, his most trusted disciple, who he had also received and dictated the Book of Five Rings to him, Gorin no Sho, Musashi's treatise on strategy and martial arts and swordsmanship. The tone of Dokkōdō is stark, minimalist, and ascetic, emphasizing values like detachment from materialism, acceptance of loss, rejection of self-indulgence, and living with integrity and clarity. This is a moment in my life that whenever I feel somehow, let's say, depleted of energy, I revert and go back to books like Dokkōdō, and it is one of them, and I would like to share this with you. These 21 precepts and, let's say, principles, surely everyone, in my opinion, should analyze them the way he or she thinks is the best. Everyone might have a different interpretation. It might have a different impact, and that's also okay. But I'm going to interpret it the way I look at them. The artifacts you see in the background are from the State Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia, when I was visiting there and talking to my colleagues in the museum in Russia some years ago. So the first rule for him is accept everything just the way it is. Those of you who are interested in Stoicism, the Western concept of Stoicism, and also Erfan in Persian way of life, you see the similarities. In order to reach happiness and be happy and have a strong mind, it is important to accept everything just the way it is. You cannot change things which are beyond your control. And that's the whole reason for saying that. Number 2, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Of course, seeking pleasure is something we human beings keep doing our entire life. And then again, as you know, pleasure can be described in different ways. Some people might take pleasure in going to the nature, and some in doing different things. But the advice of Miyamoto Musashi is do not seek pleasure for its own sake. If you compare it with the life of Siddhartha, who became enlightened and became Buddha, and I think Hermann Hesse in German wrote a book, Siddhartha. He describes it very well, as I read that book, that one of the ways Siddhartha on the way to enlightenment, when he abandoned all the possessions, because he was a prince, his dad was an influential and rich king. One of the ways he tried to be happy was to do to seek pleasure, different types of pleasure, being partying, being going out, having drinking and etc. and other things. But he found out that it was not making him happy. Now, I don't want to divert and go to the way of Buddha and Siddhartha. If you want, I can talk about it as well. But you see that he also came to the conclusion that seeking pleasure cannot bring happiness, or eudaimonia, as we say in ancient Greece, or in virtue ethics. So back to Dokkōdō, Miyamoto Musashi, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Number 3, do not under any circumstances depend on a partial feeling. It means whatever you need to do it with a clear head, not partially. You need to believe in yourself and be completely dedicated. Number 4, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This is a very important one, meaning you need to be humble and do not take yourself so seriously. This is one of the biggest piece of advice in this book to us by Miyamoto Musashi, as you can see it here. Then he moves on, and we will see the number 5. Number 5 says, be detached from desire your whole life long. Desires might be understood as goals. Very often we teach even our kids, and when we are small children or later teenagers, we have desires. And we know it also in leadership seminars that desires, when you have desires, can be reached, can be shaped into goals. And then these goals can be tangible goals. You use different formula like SMART to make them attainable, reachable, to make them realistic. But remember, not all desires can be shaped into goals to be reached. Therefore, Miyamoto Musashi advises, be detached from desire your whole life long. Number 6, do not regret what you have done. This is also a very, very important one. I remember I've read, I think, almost all books by Dr. Henry Kissinger, and this is also something which he kept saying and writing in his writings. Do not regret what you have done. This is what Miyamoto Musashi also says. This is a very tough one if you think about that. We know it in personality development, regretting what you have done, if it was wrong, shows the strengths of your personality. But as a strategist, Musashi does not advise that. It says, do not regret what you have done, because regrets will consume your energy, will make you weak. Again, this was the same thing which was said by Henry Kissinger. We go to the next one. The next one says, never be jealous. Jealousy and envy have destroyed many careers in human history. Always be wary of jealous and envious people who come and try to undermine you and then try to turn everything around and against you and gaslight you and accuse you of many things. But never forget, jealous and envious people, jealousy is like a poison which consumes your own soul inside. Instead of being jealous and envious, try to set goals, higher goals, try to improve yourself all the time. Do not look at others, try to improve yourself and set goals. That's what Miyamoto Musashi advises us. Number 8, never let yourself be saddened by a separation. In our life, we always go through that. Separation of love. Relationships can break up. Marriages can end up in divorce. Friendships can end up. A good friend can backstab you. A student could backstab you. In family, many separations can happen, and they all saddens us. This is also something which Stoicism advises us to do. Never let yourself be saddened by a separation. Get over it. Number 9, resentment and complaint are appropriate. Neither. So they are inappropriate, remember, for oneself nor others. Do not hold grudges, resentments. Do not keep complaining. Number 10. Do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. Again, these worldly affairs, lust or love, will weaken you. That's what Miyamoto Musashi advises. Number 11, in all things have no preferences. Take everything the way they come to you. Number 12, be indifferent to where you live. Do not pay attention to the comfort of life, which bed you sleep, how big your house is. Be indifferent to where you live. Do not pursue the taste of good food. Eat to have energy. Do not pursue the taste of good food and try to be dependent on that. That's a very important one. And I think many warriors from different cultures advise that all the time. Number 14, do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. In a world where a world of consumption, where we are trimmed and trained to buy and buy and buy, and we have the phenomenon of shopping addictions, it is a very, very important principle. Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. Number 15, do not act following customary beliefs. This is very important, and I teach it in my intercultural management classes at the university as well. We know that every culture has sets. I call them in my classes tactics of inclusion and exclusion. You agree with the majority, and the system supports you. The system underpins your position. You go against the system, against the shared values. The system punishes you. And these are the customary beliefs. Musashi says, do not act following them. Be an independent thinker. Number 16, do not collect weapons or practice with weapons beyond what is useful. So, it is better to be a master swordsman than an apprentice in many weapons. Try to concentrate. Do not fear death. In Bushido, that's a very important one. There is a saying in Bushido where it says, what do you do if you're facing a katana, a very sharp katana, the edge of a katana? What should I do? And the advice is, take 2 steps towards the edge of the katana and you are in heaven. This is the clear indication in Bushido of not fearing death, with all its ramifications. Very often I see that the Western philosophy or scholars misunderstand this item in Bushido and not fearing death. I think in Asian philosophy, also in Iran, we share that this is important to understand what it means, because it will sever your interest with the worldly affairs, and only then you can see clearly. That's what they want to say. Number 18, do not seek to possess either goods or fiefs for your old age. So this is also goes in line with some of the principles we talked before. Number 19, respect Buddha and gods without counting on their help. That's very important. If you want to use the Kohlberg model, who says that the lowest level of morality is if you fear something and you don't do it, be it law, be it fear of God, and all these things. So you see, Musashi says the same, but the other way around. You respect Buddha and the gods, but without counting on their help. Because if you count on their help, you just try to be moral, you try to do these things to be rewarded. And it's not good. Number 20, you may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. And that's also very, very important. Honor, one of the principles of Bushido. And the last one, and I think the most important one, never stray from the way. Always keep your way, the way of your warrior and the way you have been doing your things. Never stray. Do not be demotivated. Thank you very much, and thanks for listening to me, and have a nice day.